Hi, students. Welcome to summer school. As you know, you have 6 assignments you need to complete in order to get credit for your economics course. And the packet is 27 pages long, but there's only, a lot of the material in this packet is just like lessons and supplementary material to help you with the activities. Okay. Each activity shouldn't take you much more than 30 to 45 minutes. And I just wanted to walk you through how to complete each activity here. If you have any questions, you can go to the ths.tisd.org summer school. You can also email me. My name is Mr. Stice. If you have questions about any of the specific work in this packet. Remember, when returning work to the school, make sure you have your name, ID number, and advisor's name on the top of this page, on the top of the packet, and make sure everything's stapled together nicely. Okay. So there are 6 assignments. Each assignment is from one of the 6 units that you would have been taught throughout the school year in your economics classroom. The first assignment covers basic economic concepts related to the production possibilities curve. Please read through these notes on different terminology for the production possibilities curve. Read through, again, some of these definitions. And then you are asked to draw I think 4 different production possibility curves and answer questions about the curves. These are just graphs where you'll have one line that correlates to these numbers. So you'd put like cupcakes on one side, robots on another. At 0 cupcakes and 30 robots, you'd have like 0 cupcakes, 30 robots. And so you would draw these graphs accordingly, just like you would in a math class. If you need help drawing these curves, just take a look at like this example they have here that sort of outlines, a point of unemployment, a point of maximum efficiency, and a point, sort of an impossible point to reach beyond the curve. So that's the production possibilities curve assignment. It's pretty straightforward, drawing graphs and asking questions. The second assignment, I know this has answer keys for question 1 through 6. You don't actually have to answer questions 1 through 6. I just gave you the answer key that tells you like what the law of demand, law of supply is. It shows you like a typical demand graph and a typical supply graph. And then it asks you to go ahead and graph the supply and demand curves down in this activity. Well, actually, it doesn't even ask you to graph. It just asks you to read the articles that I just kind of scrolled past and to analyze the changes in demand, supply, quantity demand, and quantity supplied and market equilibrium. And so you would just put those in these boxes. You just put like for DVDs, what changed? The demand, the supply, how did the curve shift, and what's the equilibrium price and quantity? And it has hyperlinks to these articles, but all of the articles are above. So like the first article, the Bloomberg article, you don't have to do. I put in the instructions, but the second article is here. It's called Article 2, CBS News. It's about barbecue and brisket shortages. So you'd read the article and answer the questions about supply and demand. Okay, so that's the supply and demand activity. Then your third activity is on macroeconomics. You have this nifty graphic that tells you about fiscal policy, what Congress does to impact the economy, and monetary policy, what the Federal Reserve does to impact the economy. Then the activities down below, it asks you some questions about that infographic that we just looked at. And then it asks you some questions about fiscal policy and monetary policy. So you just write, you'd open up these articles, which are already here for you, Article 1, Article 2. And then you would go ahead and answer, like, what is it a fiscal or monetary policy? What's the goal of the policy? Who conducts the policy? And write a brief description of the tools being used to counteract like whatever's happening in that article. Okay. So like, for example, on the first article, it's about Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas called for structural reforms and other fiscal policy to help jumpstart the economy, which he said would give the central bank more operating room to raise interest rates. And a question and answer summary, blah, 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 the U.S. economy grew. Kaplan said accommodative monetary policy was causing distortions in the market, but the Fed must be cautious about raising rates. He said monetary policy can't do much to kickstart the economy, and instead called for investments in infrastructure or more immigration to help replenish an aging workforce. So in this one, you'd say what students will. Yeah, you could say either fiscal or monetary policy for this one because the Fed is saying like monetary policy is not necessarily working, so we should implement more fiscal policy. The goal of the fiscal policy that the Fed's calling for is to help stimulate the economy. Who conducts the policy? Congress conducts fiscal policy, and tools or actions being used. He calls for a stimulus package. Investments in infrastructure or more immigration to help replenish the aging workforce. So he says tools like allowing more immigration or investments in infrastructure could help replenish the aging workforce. So you just do the same for the second article. Okay, and then for assignment 4, there's all these definitions about types of businesses. Assignment 4 is based around microeconomics, types of businesses, the advantages and disadvantages of different types of businesses. Remember, a firm is just a business. It's a fancy word for like business. And then so there's just a bunch of questions on businesses. You just say which type of firm has limited liability, and you would put like corporations. Which type of firm is likely to have the greatest number of owners? Again, that's corporations. Which types of firms have unlimited liability? That would be whatever the chart says about liability. Okay. Limited. So corporation has limited, and then unlimited liability is like a sole proprietorship and a partnership. They both are very liable for like all their losses. And then it asks you 2 questions about double taxation. This first one, there is a right or wrong answer. The second, question 17, is sort of your opinion. Lesson 5 is personal finance related. It asks you about credit. Use Google if you can to get these answers. You can go to this website to get these answers. And if you don't have Google, if you don't have access to technology, answer the ones you can, and then go ahead and just put like no technology for the ones you can't. And then for this last assignment 6, this is all. It like tells you over here the definitions of cost comparison, cost benefit analysis, and it tells you. It just asks you questions about like financial planning. Okay, you can skip this part. This last part's optional. And you know what? Actually, I'm going to go back right now and add in this document that tells you all the information on how to complete this assignment. So you will need to answer all 6 of these questions, and then again these 4 questions. Okay, there will be a page right above here. I'm going to put in that says all that information. Okay. Again, if you have any other questions, please contact me at jeffrey.stice@gcloud.tisd.org, and I'm happy to help in whatever way I can. Good luck, and remember, graduation's right around the corner. Just get this knocked out, and you are a high school grad. Good luck.